Do you know of a young adult with special needs who is trying to transition to the workforce? Find out about an organization who's trying to improve the transition of young people with special needs from school to independence. Next on Connecting Our Community. Stay with us. Hi everybody, I'm Karen Allen and welcome to Connecting Our Community. Today, Karen Leggett is joining us. She is chair of the Transition Work Group and with her, her daughter Nadia Aburaya. Ladies, welcome. I'm so glad you could join us today because the Transition Work Group is a big job actually. Lots of people you help and really it's a mouthful what I was talking about. It's enormous and it's a big job. Karen, tell me about it.
We're actually a coalition of organizations and government agencies and parents. We don't provide direct services, the Transition Work Group, but the service providers do. And our mission is to improve the transition of young people from the time they're age 14 until there's sort of an arbitrary age of 26 set. We all know that young people are transitioning and making the move to independence at varying levels. But that's the core of the group of young people we are working with, trying to make sure that they have a lot more opportunities. Traditionally, these were young people who maybe didn't finish school, went to institutions, all sorts of things that really didn't give them an opportunity to realize their potential. And we want the community to know how many opportunities there are and how to take advantage of the skills that this population really has to offer.
You're talking about young adults with special needs. Nadia, Karen, what are we talking about? What kind of special needs?
Primarily intellectual disabilities, emotional disabilities, mental illness, people who have a hard time figuring things out with their brains, but can do that. They learn in special ways. They may need a little help. We all need a little help in different ways. But with some accommodations on the job, with some encouraging people in the community, they can participate in a lot of activities, and you're going to hear about some of the organizations where they participate fully and live very increasingly independent lives. We have young people with intellectual disabilities going to college, many special college programs. There's one at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, at George Mason have special programs. Nadia's going to tell you shortly about a program at Montgomery College. And also opportunities in the workplace, more and more opportunities for young people with fairly severe disabilities to be included in the workforce, doing very significant work.
What do you think the situation is now if you look at across the board at where young adults are now in the workforce? And why do you think that this program is even needed?
Because we have tiny percentages. It's much better than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. There are still too many misperceptions about the capabilities of this population. It's assumed that someone who maybe has a lower IQ really isn't capable of doing very much. But what we have discovered is that an awful lot of these young adults can be trained to do pretty complex tasks. They are loyal to their employer, they are dependable, they're incredibly cheerful on the job, they're good workers, they're good people to have around, they're the kind of people that you would want to have in your workplace as a colleague. And we need to convince more employers of that so that they will open their doors. And social and recreational opportunities. They're coming. And we have a theater program that we're going to find out about in the second half of the program called Art Stream that is inclusive. And that's what we want, is more opportunities that are inclusive, where we don't segregate this population of young adults with intellectual disabilities or mental illness. We don't want to segregate them. They are part of our community. They should be part of our community.
Absolutely true. And when you say young adults, they become older adults and functioning adults in our society, and there's no question that they have a lot to offer and need to transition to a more stable life anyway. That's absolutely true. You say that these organizations help young people with activities and events also?
Yes, there are some social groups. There's one called Potomac Community Resources, PCR. They have classes from photography and tennis and sports, and they also have social events. They have a beach party, and they're having a barbecue this weekend, and these are hundreds of people who come out. Some of them have a helper with them. Some of them come on their own. They have friends there. They socialize. these are good social opportunities. There are theater groups, there are lots of sports opportunities, and there are groups called service providers, and these are agencies, nonprofit organizations, that help these young people find jobs. They have job coaches who will go in and work with the employee and the employer
Wow.
to make accommodations. We have one young man named Smith Mambo, and he is deaf. He graduated from high school with a certificate. He stayed an extra year to get training in being an auto technician. And then DOORS, the Division of Rehabilitation Services for the state of Maryland, has a workforce training facility outside Baltimore. Mambo went to that facility to improve his skills in being an auto tech. Came out of that, he was determined to find a job, and he now works for Darcars.
Wow, that's great.
And he communicates.
Success story.
That's exactly right. His supervisor signs. He also reads lips. He writes notes, and he communicates very well. And he's working with a sort of a job coach who told him at one point, asked him how he communicated when he went to McDonald's, and he said, "I don't go to McDonald's." He says, "No, you're going to go tomorrow, and you're going to order something, and you have to make yourself understood." So Mambo went into McDonald's, made himself understood, figured out by pointing, by talking, by listening a little bit, communicated, and came back the next day and was incredibly excited that he had succeeded in doing something independently.
That's wonderful.
And a lot of it is very small steps. And Nadia has some of those stories as well.
I haven't forgotten about you, Nadia. Actually, I do want to ask you, did you continue your education after high school?
I did. I was in the, I graduated at Montgomery College for the graduate transition program. It's a 2-year program with students with disabilities, different disabilities, and we all, it's the same bunch of the students in each class with different teachers. And it's really good to make new friends, and I take the classes in the morning, so it's a really fun group to be with, and I made a lot of new friends during all the classes.
And you gave a graduation speech. Every student in the class gives a graduation speech, so that they develop quite a bit of
to
confidence.
Say thank you for the teachers and how great they are. So, and we did that.
And you're 27 years old.
I'm 27 years old.
Wow, that's fantastic. You look wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't.
And you've had several jobs.
Oh yeah.
How would I know that Nadia is even disabled?
Well, what sort of help do you need on your job?
I need people to talk more slowly.
Okay.
And clearly, not mumble and whispering, and write things down on a piece of paper, instructions, what they needed me to do, and I do it, what they said.
Okay, that's not too hard. That's not a hard.
A lot of accommodations on the job, employers have a tendency to think that they're going to have to spend a lot of money. In this case, it just requires slowing down, maybe writing down a checklist of things that need to be done.
That's not difficult, right? Okay.
So they understand what.
Right. What's required.
What's required, and I do that at my work, which I work for Department of Health and Human Services, and they actually listen to me.
That's a big deal. I mean, right?
Yeah, so I was really surprised about that because they actually, I actually made a folder for them to keep all the urgent stuff they need. So I can, when I go back to work, I can just go in to the folder, and they had to write their name down. So I tried to write their name down so I don't want to go to the wrong person.
That's very clever.
And they write what they need me to do.
So you actually, it helps to figure out, so you can help the employer actually figure out how to help you.
Right.
Win-win. And that doesn't cost a lot of money either. I think that's really helpful. You've come up with ways to help the employers figure out how to help you, and then you can be a better employee. What do you want to do with your life? What's next for you then?
Well, I'm starting to want to live on my own.
Me too.
Balancing what I want to do. I play tennis. I'm in a tennis league now,
Very good.
so it's really fun. And I volunteer for PCR. I'm an event photographer, which I'm going to the barbecue this Saturday to take pictures.
Very cool.
And I do a lot of
You
others.
usher. You
I
usher all over
usher.
the place.
I usher, yeah. I usher at Shakespeare, and I usher at Imagination Stage.
That's great. That's
And
cool.
I
So
volunteer there too.
I actually used to usher at a theater, so I know it's a great idea to volunteer and give of yourself. So how do you raise money for Transition Work Group
Well, the Transition Work Group doesn't have money per se.
or for the organizations?
The organizations are funded in various ways. The nonprofit organizations are funded in all the usual ways that nonprofit organizations are, and then the government agencies are there as well. We do several things. We're a networking group. We do several things. We testify. We testify at a lot of local, county, state issues. We were big proponents of Question A, which provided it last year. We approved, the voters in Montgomery County approved that to provide a special hiring authority for veterans and others with disabilities to be hired in the county. We create some brochures. We have brochures, job seeking, and also a sort of a transition checklist. And we create these brochures, and then annually we have a big disability resource fair every year in October at Montgomery College in Rockville for families and for young adults, where they can get all sorts of resources about financial planning, education.
We're going to give all the information on a graphic where people can actually see, I think, where they can
find out about all the details for that, and get in touch with us if you have questions, and we sort of send you out to where the resources are. We don't provide those services, but there
Right.
are lots of resources for families. They shouldn't need to. It's difficult when you're trying to help your young person be independent, but there are resources there. It's not bleak. In Montgomery County, we're very lucky. We have a lot of.
I love that you
services
put a
available.
positive light on it, because it is not bleak, and she's definitely proof of it. And we have actually another, after the break, we're gonna talk with somebody else about it. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We will definitely have some more information. We will show this graphic and tell you more about it. Oh, good. It's always on the screen. That's a good idea. Whenever I talk about it, it's magic. There it is, facebook.com, Transition Work Group. And there's an email up there as well. It's fantastic. Don't forget, it's called Transition Work Group. There it is on Facebook, also an email address. Wonderful to do. I see the product of it right here in this beautiful Nadia Aburaya. Wonderful. Karen Leggett, as always. Look, you're always involved in something fantastic that I want to promote at the Yazoo. Thank you so much. This is a really important thing for so many types of special needs
Thank you.
young adults,
It
and
is.
there are so many of them. Okay, we're going to take a break because we're not done with some special people. Don't go anywhere. You're going to see some more when we come back. Thanks.
When you donate goods in response to an international disaster, it's expensive.
They have to cross the sea, pass through customs, be inspected, sorted, then finally delivered.
And often they arrive too late to help, making your good intentions feel a little empty.
There is a better way. Cash donations are fast, simple, and allow professional relief workers to purchase supplies close at hand.
Cash is best. Learn more at CIDI.org.
It's our duty to serve veterans and military families who serve their country in the most difficult ways imaginable. Together, we can say thank you in so many ways. Small acts of kindness mean more than anything. With our support, veterans and military families can face even the most difficult challenges. Let's honor their service with ours.
Joining us now is Nick Stearns, who is the co-founder and director of ArtStream, and R.J. Martin, who is a young man who is living on his own, has a job, and performs with ArtStream.
Yes, I do.
Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. And wow, this is a great show so far for me personally, learning about this transition thing from Karen Leggett and Nadia, and now you, Nick, and you, RJ. What is ArtStream?
ArtStream is people has disability and next work with Patty and Jenny and including my mother. Help lots of people have all disability.
Various disabilities?
Yeah. And the directors pick the plays and write the script on a computer, and that's about that.
Right, exactly.
So there's a script on a computer?
Well, what we do, RJ's right, we're a nonprofit. We were started 8 years ago, and there were 5 of us who founded ArtStream. We felt that there was a need in Montgomery County to have more programs like this, where we have theater for underserved populations. And what RJ was referring to is exactly right. Our inclusive theater program provides arts opportunities for adults with disabilities, and we do write our own plays. So we start from a rehearsal process where there's just no script at all. And all of our actors get together, and we rehearse every week, and they select the topic. And these scripts are completely original, and all of the work is really through our actors' ideas. Lines in the play, plot, everything. And our very well-trained staff works together collaboratively, and it does go on the computer, and the actors need to memorize the lines. We create blocking, which is movement in theater. We have original songs that are written, dances. We have set, costumes, makeup, and there you go, right? After 6 months, we go from nothing and get together as a group, as an inclusive acting company, and 6 months later, we take the show and we play to sold-out houses. And it's a pretty awesome process, right?
Yes, it is, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, for people that don't have disabilities, that's an awesome process.
Yeah, I agree.
That is a lot to do. Creativity, that's from scratch. I mean, that's a lot. For people with disabilities, that's even more of a challenge and an exciting journey, if you ask me. Am I right, RJ?
Yes, Karen.
That is my name. Now, from what I read here, you are 33 years old. You have successfully made the transition from school to work and independent living. You have Down syndrome, and you live alone in an apartment. Those are just some things about you.
Yes, I am. I been this way back 1979. That's the year I was born, through my entire life.
Yes. You've been
Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And I live on my own of about 9 years, between Arlington to Maryland.
Right, so you recently moved. You're recently a Montgomery County resident now, and you live in a great place in White Flint.
White Flint, it's nearest White Flint Station, and it's called Stratford Court.
Okay. And you obviously are able to maintain your life on your own independently. Was this something that you've always wanted to do, and did you find difficulties in doing it?
Yes, that's the year 2005. I still live with my mom. Then I decided to move on my own.
Right.
It's a big step.
It's a big step, challenge, just work hard at the Central Library in Virginia.
How do you get to the library in Virginia where you work, RJ?
I take a metro to work between back and forth.
Right.
That's a lot.
It's huge.
It's a big step to take a metro.
Yeah, from White Flint.
What do you think was the hardest thing in becoming independent, RJ, considering all the challenges that you have?
I just got out of high school with lesson 2, and I went to junior college.
You went to junior college out of high school?
Yes, it's a career center in Virginia. And I graduated. Then I started to work, but I was about 22, 24, 23 to 24. And I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I'll bet you are. Now, what do you think joining ArtStream did for your life? You know, I bet it raised your mood. Just looking at you two and your smiling faces raises my mood. But I mean, really, you found yourself going to the library and becoming independent, and you still decide. Are you an actor? Is that what you are?
I am 4th decade of acting.
Wow.
And I
4th decade.
Seasoned performer.
Very much
yes.
so.
I did a master's stage for about 3 years and did more, 10 years in art training.
And singing and dancing.
Singing,
Wow.
dancing, and listening.
Did you feel it was something you were clearly born to do? It's your fourth decade, so yeah.
Well, my acting fit is from my dad,
Your dad?
from his grandfather, and his brother,
It's in the genes.
It's in the
and
genes.
my
yeah.
brother. Did acting also, so I want to do this, and my mom find acting stage, art stream, and I did a lot of characters
Yes.
I did last year.
And it's really fun, right? I think the self-esteem and the confidence that comes from going out on stage, right, and performing in front of people. I mean, the audience sees the end of that 6-month process, but in many ways, the magic of the journey is the 6 months, because it's all of the discussing and the negotiating and the talking, all the communication that happens in that room from our actors, and the self-esteem and the confidence that comes from being able to speak up for yourself, share your ideas, listen, support others, be supported, and to take ownership of a script of that magnitude. And I think the self-esteem and confidence really spills over into the other areas of our clients' lives.
Now, Nick, how many people are involved in art streaming? What kind of disabilities do you have? The same kind or a variety, or is it like Karen Leggett was saying?
It's very
all
similar
kinds?
to what Karen was saying. We serve a wide variety of adults with disabilities in these particular, we have many other programs, but in these programs, it's a wide variety. It can be someone who might have autism, someone with Down syndrome. We have clients who are blind. We may have folks that are in a wheelchair. Some folks are nonverbal or have little verbal skills. But at ArtStream, our staff is trained to be able to find a way in. You know, the arts don't discriminate. There's a way in for every single person that walks through the ArtStream door. And that's what we try to do. And so if you don't have language, then dancing may be a way that you express yourself. But every single person can express themselves at ArtStream, and it's our job to find that way in and to really create that sense of confidence.
You just said a beautiful thing, and he's sitting right here as a, just
Yes,
like
I am.
Nadia. Yes, you are. That's great. The self-confidence that Nadia showed and
Absolutely.
RJ is showing is absolutely, that's what we want to see and we want to hear. Is there a specific age that you are targeting or working with, or that you attract or look for when you recruit, or do you have to recruit, or do they come to you? Or?
A little bit of both. We work with all ages. So we have other programs where at many, many different places in Montgomery County and Virginia, some in North Carolina. So we have a lot of different programs. For these particular programs, and for some of our leadership programs and communication training, social skills workshops, we find that's a little bit of both. A lot of times, lately in particular, clients are coming to us and asking us if we have programs, not just in theater, but in communication and leadership. Folks want to know how they can be a stronger, brighter voice in Montgomery County. And at ArtStream, we find a way to teach them. We just do it in a really fun, exciting way, right?
Yes, Nick. Yeah.
I can see that RJ is quite advanced, which is excellent. Now let's tell folks how they can get involved with ArtStream, okay? Let's see, volunteer opportunities, and we have on screen how people can find you, ArtStream Inc. at artstream.org over there, and there's your email address. Nick, this is where they can go to get more information, right? And you're looking for volunteers as well to help you out, right?
Absolutely. We have volunteers of all ages. Some folks come to us through the SSL requirement in the state of Maryland.
Oh, that's also a good idea.
Which is fantastic. But we have volunteers who are in their 60s and every age in between and every walk of life. So we have volunteer opportunities. We love for community folks to sit on our board. It's a wonderful opportunity to really spread the word and the mission of ArtStream. We have a gala coming up in October. We'd love folks to get involved with that. We would love folks to come to the shows. Check us out on Facebook.
Okay, that's
Twitter,
a good one. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's
Every
so,
social media around.
Oh, absolutely. So many ways. Come check us out. We'll be at the Transition Fair in October at Montgomery College.
And that's an annual thing, right?
It is.
Because I know this show is going to air forever, and I'll see to it, because this is an important message for both the transition workforce Yeah, and Art Scream. Oh, there we go. Okay. You know, it's good to have the control room thinking ahead. All right, Transitioning Youth Resource Fair every October. That's a wonderful thing. Okay, so before we go, remind people about ArtStream and Transition Work Group.
It's
I'm
Transition
sorry,
Work
Karen
Group.
Leggett. I can't keep it all together in my head. Two of these important things. Okay, and ArtStream, once more on the stream right there, artstream.org, and the email address, both wonderful organizations. I cannot thank you enough. Nick and Karen Leggett, also RJ, and the beautiful Nadia Aburaya. Wonderful, wonderful. I want to thank everybody watching this show. Help the young people, and no matter if they're disabled or not, we want to help them become productive members of society, and those who are also helping them. Okay, mymcmedia.org is how you want to get in touch with Connecting Our Community. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm Karen Allen. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.